I think we can do everything, and we can definitely do far beyond what we are doing right now. And I think to achieve the impossible is probably possible the more we understand that it is who we really are. You have to undergo a certain process, which I teach, in order to move beyond it, clean yourself up, and open up to a new experience. Eventually found a friend that mentored me in the breatharian way, and I told him I'm going to take this to the next level. We stare at the mirror thinking that this is what we are, but we are so far beyond that now that we understand who we really are. We are like the observers of all of this memory complex, the observers of our ego, of our thoughts, of our emotions, but identifying with them all the time, thinking that that is what we are. But to say who we really are, we cannot really describe it in words. So I can't really say who I am. I'm Ray.
You're right.
That's one of the things I am. Yeah, definitely. I'm an IT engineer. I'm a teacher, a guide, a mentor, a spiritual advocate. Many things can describe who I am here now, but I don't really know who I am. I keep learning, changing, growing, expanding. So maybe next year I will be something else. It's also ridiculous, yes. It's to take things very easy, not to take life too hard. Yeah. Have you ever been to the Dalai Lama lecture? Have you ever met the Dalai Lama? The guy is like a small child. Everything makes him laugh. Everything. It can be like nonsense. He has this constant smile on his face, you know? Because he's a little enlightened child. And a little enlightened child, everything brings joy. That's the beauty of it. I think that we are all God, right? God is not an external thing to us. It is us in the godly way. Meaning we are the one discovering He is the one, or expanding our consciousness to realize again that we have unlimited powers or unlimited universe. So if we can say that we are fallen angels, it actually means that we are co-creators with God Himself, manifesting our own reality. I do not want to redefine breatharianism, because breatharianism has come to the West about 35 years ago, something like that. And many people wrongly think that breatharians don't eat and don't drink. The Pranic living workshop that I created is simply a way to reconnect with your higher self. It is both physical and mental, emotional, so it's sort of like a cleansing or a new beginning for most people to do. A part of the bonuses you get with connection to your higher self is that your physical body does not need as much nutrition, physical nutrition, as it has until that point. Now I attract people with the breatharianism, but actually what they're getting is something much bigger than that. And at the end of the workshop they realize that. They realize that they can do much more. They realize that a lot of the memory structure things that they thought exist, like thoughts, limitations, social paradigms, they can just break. They don't need to sleep as much, they don't need to eat as much, they don't need to drink as much. So many different things that they suddenly discover after this type of, initially we called it a breatharian initiation. Today we call it the pranic living, because it's a different state of mind or state of being. We have been taught things that are not very correct, or things that have told us what to believe in our own capabilities, what not to believe. I think that every person is like a diamond. And over the years, the social standards have created different things and layers on that diamond. Things that are not very nice. And eventually the person doesn't see he's a diamond anymore. But when we unravel it, sort of like an onion, unpeeling another piece and another piece, then the person suddenly realizes he is a diamond, he's capable of much more. And he assumes responsibilities for his own actions. He forgives his own path. He forgives himself and others. And then he reduces the amount of karma that he's carrying around, and he can really be himself. And it sounds very easy, but it's not as easy, because most people, they don't even know what makes them happy. They cannot really define it. What do I want in my life? Yes, I want some money, I want a good boyfriend, good, beautiful girlfriend, but that's not it. We need to redefine what really makes us happy, because each one is an individual. Each diamond is unique and special. He just forgot he's a diamond, so he needs a reminder. And that's what the workshop does. It reminds you. The happy path for us, the positive path for us, can be many different ways. Eventually we get to the same places that we want to get. This is the things that we said the soul has chosen before we were incarnated. This is what I want to learn in this life. That point and that point and that point. And eventually we can decide around it, but we're going to have to get to those points. I'm in a mall, materialistic shopping, gold, food, clothes, everything that defines us today. Sometimes I find myself that I'm judging other people for eating a lot of junk food, but it's me, it's something I need to fix inside myself, because this is the way society is right now. And we're slowly learning that we need to go back to the way we were 1,000 years ago maybe. Eating less, eating organic, eating healthy, blessing the food, meaning putting our own intention into the water that is inside the food, appreciate it, and then it becomes better for us, better for our health. Sometimes I see food and it's a temptation, depending where I am in my process. Sometimes very long fasts, a few weeks, and then you don't see any food anymore. It just disappears, because you're in this state of being that is above and beyond. And sometimes I just say, yeah, why not, let's eat. And sometimes I say, no, it's okay to also not eat. And I try to see if it fills a void in my heart. Because food, a lot of times, it just fills that null place. We want to feel that we are loved, and we go to the refrigerator. We are bored, we feel that we are not accomplishing enough in our life, and then we go to the refrigerator. But anything we open in the cupboard or in the fridge, it doesn't really change, does it? It stays exactly the same. It's us that need to be filled with love, filled with compassion, filled with something. And whatever it is that we're going to eat, it's not going to help. It's just going to postpone it 1 more hour, 2 more hours. Eventually, when we find enough self-love, then we don't need it anymore. Breatharian or not breatharian, I think it's a part of our process to do that. But I think that the type of spiritual work I've been doing has really elevated me to there. It took me a long time to understand it and really to comprehend, but it takes some work, some dedication. About the age of 4 years old, my father became an Orthodox Jew. He got remarried and had 8 more kids, moved to what we call the territories in Israel, and had this Orthodox family, which I was introduced to the Old Testament, the different religion aspect. And my mother remarried with a Christian Canadian guy called Peter when I was about, I think, 10 years old. So I was aware of both of these major religions, and I think I kind of had a resistance to religion growing up. And when I matured, I started to realize that all major religions have the same core of love, which is really nice. But all the stuff that we have told, the story that has been told since then has been corrupted and changed. I grew up only with my mom and my sister for most of the time, so more like a feminine house, without a good, positive father figure. Grew up in Israel, in the north of the desert, not really green area. I really fell in love with the animal world. I used to pick up my own animals back in the day before I became a compassionate and vegetarian, and I knew that I can't take any more animals with me home. But I grew up snakes, turtles, scorpions. Had a lot of good time when I was a kid. A lot of sports, a lot of sun time. I was much more tanned than I am today, and more time outside. Wasn't next to a beach or anything like that. We were very far away, at least 45 minutes. I had a very happy childhood. I think my mom shielded me from the outside world, or from the worries of the real world. I realized that I have a very unique way of thinking. It wasn't unique in the fact that I thought different or unique thoughts, but the fact that I was more brilliant in sciences, in mathematics, in physics, and I understood that I can take things apart easier with my mind and really understand the logic of how they're built. But I would say that until the age of 25, I didn't realize that I had these emotions or spirituality. I didn't realize that I want to understand more about that type of experience in my human experience. But it was love that opened me up. I fell in love and we're in a serious relationship. And suddenly I realized that I've been missing out. All I've been doing was logical thinking. I didn't even think about the lies that we've been told as a society. I was pretty much eating whatever it is that science has given me, whatever it is that was on the news, believing everything, never doubting anything. And then suddenly I realized that science keeps changing itself. Every 10 years, something new comes out that completely defies what was written 10 years ago. And then I started realizing that if that can be true, that many other things that I've learned so far don't have to be true as well. So I started investigating by myself, and this investigation hasn't ended until today. The deeper realms of everything, spiritual, mental, emotional, trying to really understand the whole human being and not just one of its aspects. And when I was really 25, I had this great shift, started being more aware, going deep inside in meditations. I joined a group that's called the Alien Movement back in the day, and they were more about spiritual aspects of science, meaning combining science and spirituality. I learned what I could learn there for about 2 years, and then I just moved out and did my own thing. Eventually found a friend that mentored me in the breatharian way, and I told them I'm going to take this to the next level, because this brought me so much happiness and so much clarity and so much health and longevity, and I realized that I can just explain myself really well, and people love doing the course. So I realized this is a part of my own path. I realized that serving is the right way. Are starting hanging out more with people who are breatharians, and there's not a lot of breatharians in the world. So just think about how you react to that. Think about your family, your mother, your grandmother. They don't know, they're very old, they're very traditional. For them, food is love. For them, food is life. I'm a second generation Holocaust survivors. So imagine my grandparents, they stock up everything. They have a cupboard in case the Nazis are gonna come back. And for them, if we don't eat, like they were stuck, they didn't eat. They had the potato once every 2 days. They were skinny, they lost their teeth. For them, I'm making them feel bad about it. And then I feel bad, and then my frequency is lowered, and I'm in doubt, and I'm in fear. You understand? So you need to protect yourself and be yourself. Well, I am Westerner completely, and I think this is one of the things that's really unique about me. I don't want to go up into the mountains and meditate all day. I think that I should bring more light into the regular day-to-day life of everyone. I eat maybe a few times a week, not a big meal, and sometimes it's just like nothing, like a snack. I enjoy everything else, normal, any activity, sport. I go to the gym, I exercise, I walk, I run, jog occasionally. I enjoy my time with my friends. I sleep very, very little, considering the fact that this is what happens when you become a Presbyterian, because you're more conscious of yourself, so you need less time for the conscious mind to sync with the unconscious mind. I think that now I'm turning 36 pretty soon, getting married in a few months. Then now pretty soon I'm just going to have a family, and like everybody, it's going to change again. Everything around me, according to what I want to teach my kids and how much time I want to spend with them. Every teacher would like to say that whatever he is teaching is like the ultimate. And I believe it's a part. Every person needs to check his own boundaries. For some people, it can be with Wim Hof, checking if they can, melt the ice really quickly up in the cold mountain. And for some people, it is to break their own boundary. I think that the type of people that come to my workshop are people that have incarnated from previous lifetimes where they have already been Breatharian or attracted to this spiritual path. Some completely normal real estate agent, people coming from the IT world, expanding their consciousness through this understanding. Some come because they want to check their relationship with food and they want to take a 10-day ultimate detox. And they understand that after that they can choose if they want to become a Breatharian or not. So it's kind of like a choice. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely a part of the human evolution. Learning, expanding, breaking our own paradigms and our own limitations, and always checking ourselves, because we always want to learn new things. And this is one of the ultimate things you can learn. You can really not go further than this. I think people can probably levitate, be telepathic. I think people can probably move objects with their mind as well. I think people can feel each other much more, see ahead in time, feel what's going to happen as well. I think people are going to continue breaking any Guinness record that exists all the time in sports or in anything else. So I think that we are constantly learning our own capabilities, and maybe one day we'll, reach space, find out that we're not really alone, and then we won't have a global book of records anymore. We'll have a universal. I think that people should take it easy. It's hard for me to explain why, but I've went through the death process twice. It is like a meditation that you actually visualize and imagine that the physical body dies, and you wake up on the other side talking to your higher self. And after that, everything changed. I sort of like realized the game, the illusion, understanding that this is not real, time is not real, we are not real, we're here for a very, very small period of time. It's like watching a movie, and for that 2 hours you are involved in the movie emotionally, and then even a few minutes after the movie you suddenly realize you have this point in time that you are shifting from being inside the movie and into the characters and back into your old life. So this is exactly what our life is like. And when we wake up, like waking up from a dream, we realize, oh, this was just a dream. So I shouldn't take it as seriously as I took it when I was dreaming. And I'm not saying be happy all the time, and that, because I believe that we're here to learn. So there's a curve, up and down, up and down. But when you're content and when you are in the frequency of love and compassion and non-judgment, then you will always bring into your reality things that are very smooth, very calm. When you assume responsibility for your emotional state and you don't think that you are a victim of circumstances, but you are the co-creator of your own reality, then everything becomes very natural, very quiet, very simple, much simpler than before, because the mind wants to interfere. The mind wants to always tell you, yes, no, the ego wants things that he can never have, and when he has them, he only has them for 2 weeks and he's over them and wants the next thing. And when you just are, then everything is very simple, it's very, very calm. For me, to be a breatharian is simply to have another type of freedom. It doesn't mean that you don't need to eat or to drink. It means that as a Westerner breatharian, I try to find the correct balance with me and with my students. In the first year, I was very extreme. I didn't eat at all. I just drank occasionally, but then I realized that I do want to join my family. I realized that it's okay to eat occasionally, it's okay to eat by yourself even occasionally, with friends, social situations, whatever, because it is for the pleasure. When the mind has made the shift, so if the mind hasn't made the shift, it means that the body will still be hungry. So a breatharian for me is a person that is no longer hungry or thirsty. And when they do it, they eat for the pleasure, for their pleasure, for the taste, for the texture, all those things that I learned to appreciate, because before that it was simply fuel for me. Like I really didn't enjoy food that much. It was like walking and eating on the way and not consciously into the food. But beyond that, I think a breatharian is a person that is checking himself. And I do think that a breatharian is partly spiritual. I can see the statistics. I see most breatharians I know, they won't be eating meat. They won't be people that are not in harmony or won't like nature or things like that. Usually it will be people who are more in harmony with themselves, because you have to reach a state of mind that's very peaceful and accepting. You cannot always have these deep traumas. You cannot be victimizing yourself, blaming others for your own mistakes or your own life choices. You have to undergo a certain process, which I teach, in order to move beyond it, clean yourself up and open up to a new experience. I think we can do everything, and we can definitely do far beyond what we are doing right now. Every person has the ability to be limitless in his manifestation, in the world that he works in the world of relationships. It's that we are always learning, growing and learning. And I think to achieve the impossible is probably possible the more we understand that it is who we really are. I think we are unveiling our full potential in these last years. I think that first, to unveil the full potential, you need to understand inside of you that you are not just a human being. You can go into your dreams, start contacting your higher consciousness or your guides or God or angels or the universe or whoever wants to call it in whatever way they believe. But when you understand that you are just a small part, a fraction, then you understand that you are already unveiling the truth for you. You are already limitless. And all you have to do is like reach out to the cloud of abundance and say, I believe that you belong to me. I believe that I deserve it. And then it will just open up its sky and give it to you. Manifestation is one of the best workshops in the world. I really should do a video series about it. Manifestation is it's complex. There's a lot of things that you need to do. If we'll take the simplest forms, is affirmations, a combination of a belief, a visualization, a feeling of excitement, of self-love, of fulfillment, a connection in the present moment to the feeling that you will have when you will have whatever it is that you want. It can be a relationship, it can be a character change, it can be abundance. There's seriously a lot of different methods, tips, tricks, depending if the person is mind-oriented or heart-oriented. But visualization, I think, works best. And you really have to persist. You have to continue doing it and letting go of the result, which is the paradox, because we want something and then we keep on comparing, did we get it already? Did we get it already? But when you let go of the result and you are in the trust, then you really get what you want. When our hands are stretching in every position, our knees are locking, we feel as if our legs are going into the ground, our hands up towards the position, we stretch, and we let go. What we can bring into existence by thinking about it, by visualizing it, by feeling it, and by combining both of those together. And you probably noticed the 3 top chakras are responsible for our connection to the divine, our thinking, our visualization, our imagination, and the 3 bottom chakras are more connected to the planet. It's within our ability to change our life as we see fit. Sometimes we just forget that we can do that. And we just need to remind ourselves that we are here and we have limitless power. We need to find the points of motivation in our life. We can change by balancing ourselves. Sometimes we see that the physical body is very strong, but the emotional one is lacking. Sometimes the mental body, the thinking, the logical body is very, very strong, and we need to work more on the spiritual aspect of our life. It's a lot about unlearning, much more unlearning than it is learning new things, meaning breaking the boundaries and the walls that we have built over the years.
Other places would you like to go to?
Mars. I'd love to go to Mars. They haven't opened flights to Mars yet, but I'll wait. I'm patient.